Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Professor Warren, thank you for being here today. I have a pretty simple question. I represent Tennessee and also sit on the Agricultural Committee. And I was just curious to know your take on an issue central to ensuring credit for Tennesseans and farmers in general. Title 10 in the Dodd-Frank Act, the act which creates your agency, the CFPB, states that the Farm Credit Administration will retain all of its enforcement authorities over persons regulated by the Farm Credit Administration, and that the CFPB will have no authority to exercise any enforcement powers under the Dodd-Frank Act with respect to persons regulated by the FCA. So is it your interpretation that the CFPB has any enforcement authority over institutions regulated by the FCA?
Dr. DesJarlais, this is evidently a question that is what lawyers are all about. The language you read, as I've been briefed on this, I think you used the word persons, and then there's a question about whether that covers institutions, entities, covered entities which are different from persons in this. And so, as I understand it, the lawyers are out just trying to work this through to make sure there aren't any gaps and there aren't any overlaps. That's my understanding at this point, sir.
Okay. I'm not sure that I fully understood your answer. So is it your interpretation that the CFPB has any enforcement authority over institutions regulated by the FCA?
So, Congressman, I'm just going to have to back up. The statutory language you used referred to persons, and your question referred to institutions. And what the lawyers are trying to figure out from multiple authorities here, how is it that we get appropriate coverage, which is what we all want, and to carry out Congress's will. So all I'm saying, sir, is I think there's a little bit of a statutory interpretation question, and we're just trying to work through it in a reasonable way. We just want to make sure we carry out the intent of Congress.
Okay. So what do I tell my farmers?
Well, you tell your farmers that because of the language in this particular part of the statute, the lawyers are working on it right now.
Well, I don't know if that would be very comforting to them.
I certainly understand that, sir.
I do have a second question.
Sure.
And as you know, nearly half of small businesses use personal credit cards when they're first founded. Can you commit that none of CFPB's regulations will remove financing possibilities for these businesses?
Oh, Congressman, you hit on a very important question. As you rightly know, it is consumer credit that we do at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. And as you also know, because I've said it probably every chance I get, that we're about trying to make prices clear and risks clear and trying to mow down fine print so people can make real comparisons. I've actually had small business groups reach out to me and small business individuals who would like to know that they're going to have coverage and that they will have the same kind of protection about clarity in pricing and clarity in risks and not face fine print if they are using a credit card to try to start a small business. And I think this is going to be a real challenge because we have a constrained authority at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, sir.
Okay, so it's going to be a struggle, you're saying, to determine whether credit's being used for personal use or business use?
Well, what I'm saying is the way Dodd-Frank was established, it is clear that we can help beat down the fine print in the case of consumer credit cards, but in the case of business credit cards, our authority is limited.
Okay. Would there be a situation where there's a credit card that has a 20% interest rate and you step in and say, no, you can't have that?
No, Congressman, the statute is quite clear that we are not in the business of establishing usury laws. Congress spoke unambiguously. I know there's some parts of the statute that are ambiguous, but I think that part's pretty unambiguous, sir. Pretty clear.
Okay, so small businesses can breathe comfortably that they're going to have access to credit?
Well, I want to say it this way. Small businesses are struggling. I understand that. And access to credit is about a whole lot of issues. But in terms of what we're doing here at the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, we're hoping we're going to make things a little better for all those good people out there who are trying to start businesses. and that it will be good for them if they know prices, if they know risks, if there's not so much fine print in their contracts.
Thank you, Professor Warren. My time's expired. I yield back.